This is the grid that the Bombers call home.
You're throwing the tee in the ground. If your hand's not shaking, there's something wrong.
I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. I'm in my element. Flow is like water. I'm forced to a fire. I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth. Following God and you grinding. You do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center. Word to Spike Lee. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element.
And we are back here at World Long Drive event, Hobe Sound. We are at the Polo Club. I'm Alexis Belton, here with
Bobby Bradley.
And we've got a fun group for Group 3. We've got Martin Borgmeyer, Brandon Flynn, Landon Gentry, and a whole host of people.
Marty Borgie, almost 240. You know, that nickname, he going 239.3, ultra impressive. Probably a couple swings away from 240-mile-per-hour ball speed, which is just unheard of. And Sebastian Twaddell is in this group as well, who went 240. But Martin Borgmeyer coming off the 2022 World Championship, also winning the first World Long Drive Tour event this year. Martin, like I said, he will be the favorite to win this tournament. Unfortunately, got some food poisoning late on Wednesday night.
Lost about 10 pounds.
Yeah, so he's not feeling too well, but he says he's feeling better. So, and I know that he won't use that as an excuse. And still watching him on the range,
he looked great on the range.
He's still Martin Borgmeyer, world champion,
the scientist, the professor.
He got some really good hitters in this bracket. All of them are extremely talented. The ghost player, he's terrible. He never gets one in play, but we got 15 out of the 16 hitters that are going to be putting some balls in play. But the one that we're going to probably key on a little bit is Sebastian Twaddell. You know, Sebastian's still working on trying to hit a lot of balls in play and advancing through, a tour event. But it's been extremely impressive to watch him jump the speed charts and almost hitting 170 mile per hour in club speed, and then 240.
He's the one that I have to win. That's who I chose, the Aussie. Just started about 6 or 7 months ago, so I'm excited to see what he does here to get into the top 32.
Martin Borgmeyer, Kyle Gabbard, Menashe Masawi, and a ghost player. I said we'll key in on Martin Borgmeyer, slot number 1, 227.1, smoothing it right down the middle, apex at 225. We'll look at his spin rates as well. I know Kyle was working on his spin rates earlier on in the session. Him and Colton Casto ended up taking their bracket down of 16 hitters. So Kyle Berkshire ended up at 725 points, I believe, or 750.
Yeah, hitting a 390.
390. So Martin Borgmeyer with a bullet right down the middle at 385 yards, starting off, and he's looking good right out of the blocks. You know, I know he's not feeling too well right now, but to see 227 out of the first swing, I like seeing that. 385 yards. We've talked about it a bunch earlier on. If you're tuning in, these guys got to carry it at least 350 yards, or they're not going to be getting very big marks. It is a little slow up to 350, but if you get past that 350 benchmark, you'll see some rollout. Kyle Gabbard at 350. Menashe Masawi is at 351.
I'm excited to see Masawi. I was watching him on the range, and he was hitting some bullets. I think if he can get the ball up in the air a little bit, he'll have a good opportunity.
Yeah. Martin Borgmeyer taking his time here. Kyle Gabbard putting up some big numbers as far as club speed. He's just hitting it, mishitting it right now. 151 club speed.
Looks like Martin's is putting a little bit more speed with it, which is a lot of fun to watch.
We have light scope in every single slot today, so you'll be able to see launch, spin, club speed, ball speed, height. And it seems kind of similar to Mesquite as far as spin rates go and height. I know a lot of guys are working on trying to get the ball down a little bit. 170 to 190 seems to be the number as far as height. And spin rates, they have varied between 1,700 to 2,500, and you've seen guys get optimal distance out of their drives. Colton Castle had a ball earlier today that went 220 feet in the air with lower spin, and he still ended up carrying it at, I think it was like he went 368, which was the longest number at that time. But Ryan Gregnall going 378 in that group, who advanced as well. Gregnall had the world record for just a little bit, but Martin Borgmeyer starting off the second event of the year
at
with
385.
Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
So I actually started in '05, and it took me a while before I actually made world finals. And when I won, I went to my first qualifier and I beat everybody by like 35 yards. Nobody knew my name. I had like 14 people with me. I had like my dad, my mom, my brother, my roommate, and a whole bunch of other people with me. And they're like, "Who's that kid that just won?" They're like, "I don't know, but he pounds it." So that's where Pounds It was born. They always say the good nicknames are given to you, so just kind of took it and ran.
It's always
with it.
great to see Landon. He'll be in slot number 1 today. I got a chance to watch him warm up a little bit on the range, and he was hitting it like he always does. Pretty center, good height, good speed.
Slinger. Little right to left is prototypical ball flight. It's like
Right
a mid-ball draw. Landon been in the sport for a really long time.
He's definitely been able to see it evolve, and it's great to still have him out here.
I would say he's the elder statesman. I mean, as far as competitors in this tournament, it's been around the longest. 2009. Got Isaiah Joyner. We talked about Isaiah earlier on in the tournament, just talking about the most improved player last year that got significantly better. Isaiah making the final 16 at the World Championships, the PLDA World Championships, and then competing in a different organization event and ended up winning that tournament. So, he's getting better, he's faster, he's stronger, and hits a nice golf ball. So Isaiah Joyner here in slot number 2.
Yeah, it was great talking to his dad and just kind of sharing a little bit how he got into the sport. I think how every player gets into the sport is always very unique and fascinating. He was hitting some balls at a range that he works at, who he's also sponsored by, and they said you should sign up, and they've been rallying around him. He's in that kind of phase of figuring out what club works, what swing works, and apparently, as he's been the most improved, he's figuring it out. Also got Josh Jackson in slot number 3 from DC.
Yeah, Josh can generate some club speed as well, club speed and ball speed. I think he's a guy that could probably be, based off of that club speed alone, he can be in the mid 210s, and 2 teens. Landon Gentry at 349 yards. He's got the first 3 balls in play. This grid actually sets up really good for Landon. I mean, minus the fact that, the wind actually looks like it's a little bit right to left. So the wind has shifted. This is more of a north wind now. Nothing too crazy, but probably 4 or 5 mile per hour right to left. So this helps out Landon Gentry's draw. Guys are going to have to make some form of an adjustment. This really helps Martin as well. Martin hits a nice high draw. And Martin, with a great start, he went 385 and 382.
As of now, we've got a tie with Landon and Josh, but we just Isaiah
Josh,
with the 351.
And Josh yelling at that last ball. Just don't know about ball speed. The good thing about having this data in front of us is, he ended up hitting a 357. He hit it high enough. So, a little bit of a miss hit. If you're at 146, 147, you can produce up to 220 mile per hour ball speed, and he was right at about 202, 203. So it was a slight miss hit for him, but it was still good enough.
Good enough.
357 yards. Just put balls in play, see what happens.
Introducing World Long Drive International memberships. World Long Drive welcomes all of their international affiliates as part of the World Long Drive family. With an international membership, our worldwide competitors now have the ability to compete in internationally sanctioned World Long Drive events, the ability to earn world ranking points, plus all of the great community membership benefits. Sign up for an international membership today at worldlongdrive.com. All pro memberships include the ability to compete in international World Long Drive sanctioned events. Learn more at worldlongdrive.com. Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
We are back. Group 3 of set 1.
Zach Holton, Dwight Riddle, Brendan Wise, Earl Widener. Zach Holton has been knocking on the doorstep of a win in the last 2 events, World Championships and in Mesquite a month ago. World-class hitter, hits a lot of balls in play, hits it straight, and he's fast, and he hits it high. He's a guy that I wouldn't be surprised winning a tournament or 2 this year.
Agreed. Hails from Birmingham, so I'm pretty sure he eats a lot of Saul's barbecue over there.
Oh, yeah.
Might be helping a lot with this distance. And then we've got Earl, who's actually an amateur, and he's on the tee, so this will be fun to watch him.
Well, you got Bud on the screen, and then you got Earl. So let's go with Bud.
Bud,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, we got.
He said either or.
Yeah.
But I like Bud.
I like Bud too. Zach Holton, 375 in the lead. Dwight Riddle.
He's cruising around the 215, 218. Look, 221.
Yeah, good ball from Zach Holton. This one's right down the middle. It's perfect. Spin, launch, all the above. It said apex. Let's see where that ball goes at 142 feet in the air. We saw balls that were maybe slightly higher going farther, but the conditions have changed. He's got a right to left wind right now, and he's hitting a draw. That might be a huge number from Zach Holton. 390 is the longest ball of the day so far from Kyle Berkshire, who after going OB looked extremely, extremely good and in control the rest of the way through. Ended up taking down the bracket of 16, him and Josh Koch and Colton Casto, and Ryan Gregnall ended up finishing high up in the first group of hitters. So the guys that you expect being there, the only guy that didn't really make it, that's a surprise, was Mark Costello. Costello was fast. I mean, he just missing just by a little bit. A guy that could, Costello could win tournaments too. So, but that's the only surprise so far that I've seen on paper that, you would expect being late in the tournament.
Yeah,
so.
Literally anyone's game.
Yeah. But Zach Holton looking good. And not only that, last year I believe he was the #1 seed going into the finals at the World Championships last year. In the round of 16, he was he had the highest points. But Zach Holton's going to take down this set. Dwight Riddle looks like he's going to take second.
And we will see you guys in a second.
Introducing the new Bridgestone E9 Long Drive, co-designed by world long drive athletes to push the limits of distance. Thanks to extreme ball speed and superior aerodynamic flight. Engineered for you to hit your longest drive. Drive the new E9 Long Drive. Extreme distance for your game.
Competition is getting better and better, and so I need to as well to keep up with everybody else. So it's just going to be competing in as many tournaments as possible, trying to win as much as possible, and just have that confidence going into the World Championship that I can take home. I'm not the fastest guy out here, but I'm one of the most consistent, so I'm always concerned about having quality strikes. Tempo is key for me. If I can have good tempo, I'm going to put a lot of good golf balls in play.
Brandon is a ball striker. He said it best. He knows that he can put as many balls in the grid as possible. I'm a huge fan of his. He lives not too far away from me. And I think another really cool thing is Brandon served. He was in the Air Force and continues just to be a huge advocate for military. And just it's an honor literally just to have him as an athlete here at World Long Drive.
Brandon Flynn is a good man. Jeremy Nowak, Sebastian Twaddell, and Jay Helstowke. Sorry, Jay, if I messed up that last name, but I always like listening to Seamus. He'll give like the proper enunciation, like Monica Chiniborowicz. Like the one time I'm like, okay, I've never said it like that. And then when he said Monica Living, I'm like, okay, I'm saying your name wrong. But
we're learning as we
Jay,
go.
We apologize. But Brandon Flynn, one of the best hitters in the world. Jeremy Nowak made a final 16. Sebastian Twaddell currently is the fastest man on the planet.
With the ball speed 225, and that looks like that's going to be in the grid. I'm excited to see where this lands.
So what I'm going to be focusing in on Sebastian Twaddell is the height of the golf ball and his spin.
Spin.
So he was having issues at the beginning of the tournament last time, having too much movement left to right, hitting it really high, and generating a little bit too much spin. The ball was like almost falling out of the sky. Now, if he can lower that ball flight to 180, 190, at these speeds, he's going to put up some big numbers. But club speed's the fastest club speed that we've seen so far, 162.2 miles per hour.
I mean, and he's hitting it 377, and he's had a little bit of a high spin on these few shots. So
yeah,
lowered the spin here at 227 ball speed. That's the fastest so far. That looks straight down the middle.
So the fastest ball recorded so far today was from Kyle Berkshire.
This might be
230.2.
Wow, I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, the fastest guys on the planet are producing the fastest speeds today. To be expected. What I like to see with Jeremy Nowak is that he's got more balls in play in the first 4 balls than he did in the first 30 balls at the beginning of the year. And Jeremy, a really good hitter, professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Great
Swing
dude
man.
as well, the swing man. And getting back in. He's the guy that's climbed the speed charts as well. Guys that are in and around 220 miles per hour during their speed sessions, Jeremy Nowak and Brandon Flynn. And then you got Seb that went 240 last week.
And Jeremy's a really fun follow on Instagram if you want to watch kind of personality of golf. We just had Seb come in at 394, which is going to be the longest of the day.
Yep. So Seb Twiddell going to take a win here. It's nice. What I like more than the distance is the fact that he had three balls currently out of the 5 in play. Now he's hit 4 out of 6 in play.
Great set to
Good
watch.
start. And not only that, I like seeing a little bit less left to right. It was more of a straighter golf ball.
Yeah, we will see all of them again here at set 2 quickly. We are back, starting with set 2. Don't forget to tune in. This is our group 3. We'll have a group 4 at 2:30 today.
Seb Twiddell, Martin Borgmeyer, Zach Holden with wins, and also Josh Jackson. But Seb, Martin, Zach, the fastest guys, in the world. And I keep looking back at Zach Holden just smoothing it out there. And Borgmeyer he was on autopilot, and I think he went 227, 228 that first ball. Looked effortless.
Smooth swing, yeah.
Absolutely effortless. Hey, look at Jay here with the 370 hum now. Let's take a peek at Jay's numbers. 204, 142.
Good spin there.
But 370. 143, if you center punches that, that's right around, 214. 214 and a half ball speed. So he can look at that. 147 is a miss hit from Jay there, but that's the beauty of this sport. Is I haven't had the honor or privilege to watch him hit yet, but he's producing some big numbers. 152 mile per hour club speed there. It might have been a little bit. No, that was definitely a miss hit, but there you go, 211.
Landon here. Just need that ball to come back a little bit.
Yep. Like I said, his prototypical right to left, the slinger. Once again, we are live in Hobe Sound, Florida. The music is loud.
It is.
I'm loving it.
They've been playing some awesome music. The stands are filling up, which is really exciting to see on a Friday. We've got 3 days of play here. Tomorrow, round of 32. And then on Sunday, we will see the champions of every single division that we have here.
Yep. Menashe Masawi at 362, Landon Gentry 337, Dwight Riddle at 340. And Dwight's been posting some big numbers as well. He's been training. and watched him go 220. So it's crazy, like, being a baseball guy, like 220 however long ago was equivalent to a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, and now 220 is like a 92-mile-per-hour fastball.
Wow,
I mean, it's crazy.
that's
Really,
incredible.
truly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're comparing numbers, it's insane.
Imagine being hit by a ball going that fast.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, 220 is flying, but you got guys that are Martin, Kyle, Seb, Greg Nall.
All knocking
All
it
of them
out of the
are
park.
over 237 ball speed.
So we had Jay winning this set, and we will see our next group here in a second.
You can compete for your shot to
What are you looking forward to this season?
The whole sport, it's just jumping off, and I'm just so blessed to discover this sport at this time, and then now it's about to take off to new heights it's never been before.
Any personal vendettas?
I don't have any personal vendettas. It'd be nice to knock out anyone who's got a world championship title. Who I was last year, who I'm going to be this year. It's all about
Such a great
myself.
profile of Isaiah, as you mentioned earlier. He is the most improved player out here. It's exciting to see him play. I hope he makes it to the round 32s. And this group also has Zach Holton, the Ghost, who will probably not hit anything in Sebastian. So this is a heavy hitting group.
Yeah, I'd like to see what Seb's going to do here as far as like what type of ball flight he wants to hit here, because he does hit a high cut, and being in slot number 4, he's going to have to start aiming out a little left. So right there, he just did a pull, and that was just a pull. That was a straight pull.
Straight.
Which, not bad at all. There's 226 mile per hour ball speed.
I think one of the things that you'll see in these first two sets is the guys kind of have to adjust from going from the driving range, where they might tee the ball down just a little bit more because it's on grass, and then transition that over here where you have to use a tee claw to put it down and make sure it sits up just a little bit higher. So those are some of the things you see them working out of these first two sets.
Zach Holton, a little bit lower of a ball flight, 367. So that was 129 feet in the air. I'm trying to key in, because later on down the road, really looking at this flight scope data, it gives you so much information later on down the road. You kind of see what numbers are working. His spin numbers are down just a little bit. That one was a higher flight, 172. Don't think that one's staying in play for Zach Holton. Seb Tudell still working on a number.
And like you said earlier, these guys get to have this data and use that for whatever, whether that be the next set or tomorrow. I was watching Kyle finish his set. I mean, he absolutely dominated, and he's already watching what he did.
Yep, no, for sure. No, yeah, I mean, Kyle, the second he finished his set, he had on his headphones and he was listening. Yeah, he was watching it. Yep, every one of his sets. So, Seb, I feel like a lot of the guys that are fast, that hit those high cuts, like slot 4 is difficult for them.
It is.
But right now, like you have that right to left wind, so you can kind of just throw it down that right side and let the wind just fight it just a little bit and straighten it out.
Sometimes it's just putting one in play, and that's what we're seeing right now.
The wind has shifted. It's a north wind now. This is the east to west grid, so this benefits someone that hits a little bit of a draw, and Zach Holton has hit in a nice little draw. Like the numbers on his last ball, like I would love to see if that one stayed in play.
He's about to go after this one.
So he blocked that one out right, so he fought the wind just a little bit.
6 balls, 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Seb's got a number, which helps. That's going to be 50 points, especially with the Ghost player.
And we will see you guys here in a second.
You can compete for your shot to make it to the World Long Drive Championship. With a $25 community membership, you'll get the opportunity to join a local qualifier in your area in hopes of advancing to regionals, a 10% discount on merchandise, and insider access to pre-sales and registrations in the newsletter. Join now at worldlongdrive.com. Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
And we're back.
Kyle Gabbard, Brandon Flynn, John Zook, Brendan Wise, Brandon Flynn in slot number 2, taking a peek at him. 207 ball speed, flirting down the right side.
I'm a little biased when it comes to Brandon since we have the same coach. It's a lot of fun watching him strike the ball.
Oh, yeah. Kyle Gabbard putting up some good speeds here as far as club speed. And we've seen it a couple times where the club speed has reverted back. So that was at like 150, and then it went back to 144. But I can tell you right now that, the good thing that FlightScope did is they made that change to where it reads faster than 223.7. So we've seen 230, we've seen 229. Borgmeyer right out of the gates, first swing of the day was 227 or 228. So
insane.
Looking good. Brandon Flynn, 350 yards. Brendan Wise, 335. Looks like Mr. Zook didn't show up as well. So there's been a couple no-shows today.
Hope everyone that didn't show up is doing well, healthy, and okay, but they are definitely missed here today on the grid.
I know a lot of guys had some issues getting into Florida. It's rained a lot the last 4 days. Practically flooded Fort Lauderdale. People left their cars in the middle of the streets, and I heard some crazy stories. I mean, like the Australian guys, they literally flew all over the world.
They have.
They went like Australia to Hawaii. Where did they go? Hawaii, maybe to Los Angeles to wherever, and they were supposed to land in Fort Lauderdale, but they landed in Fort Myers, and they had to take a car over. I mean, some guys had to fly into Orlando and take an Uber. That's not a cheap.
That is
not
not
a cheap drive
at all. That is a journey. Kyle putting up a good ball speed there at 209. Working on the final balls here. This is big for Kyle and Flynn. Don't think it's going to be enough to catch 361, but that was a great set by the guys. And we will round out this set here in a second.
Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
What are your tips on hitting it long? Do you have any secret?
Oh, I mean, there's a
Borgmeyer
lot.
secrets.
Sticking to the basics is super important. Do the basics first, and then you can do all the secret stuff.
So who's the guy to beat this season?
Well, I always try to beat myself. When you're hitting with people on the tee box and you're aware of who's hitting with you, you're kind of already on the way to lose, in my opinion. You should focus on what you do with the ball. So the real opponent, like this week, is the golf ball, the shaft, the club head, the grip, and myself.
Marty Borgi 240 coming back in slot number 2 after a win with a 385-yard drive. Jeremy Nowak hit a couple balls in play, which was good. You knew that he would make adjustments after his 2023 debut in Mesquite. Like I said, he definitely wanted to forget about that one, but Jeremy, like you said, a pro, he's gotten better and better as the years went on.
Wow, right at the gate.
Yeah. And he puts in the time and effort into this. You know, Jeremy's a pro's pro, a guy that played professional baseball and knows what it takes to be at the top of, of whatever game it may be, and that being long drive now, his second career. And like I said, good guy. Jeremy Nowak's a good man and just put up a 384-yard drive on that first ball. So I'm liking that high draw. That seems to be the ball flight right now. It makes the most sense since this is a north wind. So the north wind is coming from right to left.
And it's a great, being in slot number 1 for him is perfect for his swing.
Yep.
All these guys, they all have different personalities, and they're big and they're great. I can't say enough, give them a follow, but it's great to see the variety of players that come out and are able to swing, and countries that are represented. I mean, Martin is constantly flying over the pond to get here, as well as the Aussies.
The last ball Martin hit was slight pop up for him. Might have stayed in play on that second ball. 219, still having an issue trying to pick up those golf balls, but 158 mile per hour club speed, 1800 spin, 237 feet in the air. So that miss hit, Martin went 379. 400 yards is going to happen here. It might happen in the next couple golf balls. The wind has shifted. It is now a northeast wind, so these guys are going to be hitting straight downwind. Martin's ball was slightly better than the last one.
Starting to get into a groove here. 221 ball speed. Swingman Jeremy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 400 number here. Sooner than later if one of these guys catches it.
Martin switching out the club here.
Waiting on ball number 4 from Martin Borgmeyer. It's about 219 miles per hour. About 230 feet in the air.
And he's going at it now.
And he hit a draw, too, and downwind. Josh Jackson at 354 yards. He got his 5th ball in play. Still waiting on a number. Ball number 4 for Martin Borgmeyer. This is his last swing of the set.
Bud didn't get one in, but I'm pretty sure he's just excited to be here as I am. Being on the same tee box as some of the best in the world is a pretty cool day.
Yep. All right. I'm looking at numbers here. Martin Borgmeyer, 233 in the air, 2,300 spin, 226. That looks like a good ball. I mean, that one should. I feel like a 400-yard ball's in play right now. I really do. 391.
391. We're back. We still don't have that final number for Martin. But regardless, he wins the set at 391. Jeremy at 384 and Josh Jackson at 354.
We'll know if that last ball was farther or maybe even his 4th ball. Could tell that he was really struggling picking up the golf ball. And that's frustrating, too, if you're hitting golf balls and you can't really see where they're going. 392 yards. So Martin with a 392-yard drive. Kind of seeing similar heights now, like with these numbers, than we did in Mesquite. And you can hit a little bit higher now. I mean, the wind has shifted now. Now it's a northeast wind.
Picking up just a little bit. Bobby, what did you have for lunch?
We had ribs, wings, macaroni and cheese. I had a peanut butter, whatever, sandwich that they had over there, a banana.
Wow.
What did you have?
What did I have? I ate a breakfast taco, which is pretty good.
I had one of those as well. I feel like they have fed us well here.
They have.
GF Sports and Entertainment, they feed their friends.
They do.
Once again, we're live in Hobe Sound, Florida. GF Sports and Entertainment has acquired World Long Drive and the PLDA to bring you 11 events this year under the World Long Drive umbrella. World Championship's going to be in Atlanta. This is event number 2 in Hobe Sound, Florida.
Hot Atlanta.
About an hour and 15, 20 minutes north of Miami and about an hour and 30 minutes south of Orlando. Not too far from the Atlantic Ocean. We're starting to get a little bit of a Atlantic Ocean breeze here, straight east. We had a lot of east wind last year, and we were seeing a lot of 400-yard drives, which normally doesn't happen in the beautiful state of Florida.
Yeah, so this is going to be really exciting. Make sure you guys not only tune in today, but tune in tomorrow, and most definitely tune in for all the finals on Sunday. We were watching Zach Holton put up some good numbers here, but Jeremy, who just got finished swinging, is also doing the same.
Menashe Masawi's in first right now at
leading.
358.
And our ghost hitter not hitting anything out of bounds.
It looks like Holton's aiming significantly OB right. I think he's just trying to hit a pull here. A little pull draw. I mean, he's aiming right down that right side.
He is. This one looks pretty good.
That one looks real good. 123 feet in the air, so it's a little bit lower than his normal ball flight. But I feel like the flight scope's done really well as far as guesstimating yardages, where they land. You know, it's not an exact number, but that one said 373 as far as carry. The one that Martin Borgmeyer went 392 on was in and around 400 yards. So I feel like we can get some good feedback from that as well. That Zach Holton's ball that was projected a little over 370 yards by flight scope is going to be in and around that number.
Here hitting the final balls here. Oh, wow. Jeremy put everything into that one. That might be a really good shot.
And it's all, like always, we were waiting for his number. He always hit your hardest ball when the TrackMan, the flight scope, the foresight, or whatever machine you're using, is not on. But
we will see here who has won this set, and we will report back right after this.
You can compete for your shot to make it to the World Long Drive Championship. With a $25 community membership, you'll get the opportunity to join a local qualifier in your area in hopes of advancing to regionals, a 10% discount on merchandise, and insider access to pre-sales and registrations in the newsletter. Join now at worldlongdrive.com. Catch every single World Long Drive Tour competition right here on the World Long Drive YouTube channel. The amateur, senior, women's, and open division championship will be available on the Golf Channel. To stay up to date on everything WLD, follow us on social at World Long Drive.
And we're back. It looks like Zach won that one.
by 1 yard. Zach Holton 385, Jeremy Nowak 384.
You know, when they used to interview me and say, what did you do to beat your competitor? I always say, hit it 1 yard further. That's all you need, 1 yard.
And in this sport, 7 inches gets a W. And what happens if there is a tie? They chop up the points. So we've said it on the first two broadcasts. The point structure goes as follows. First place gets 200 points. Second place gets 100. Third place gets 50. Fourth gets 25. And then an OB is 0. If there is a tie, they will chop up the points. So we saw a couple ties today where we had a tie for first and they both got 150. And I think there was a tie for second where they got 75 points. But Zach Holton with 3 wins in a row, looking good. A semifinalist at the World Championships and a semifinalist in Mesquite in the first tour event this year. And you got Martin Borgmeyer, who's won the World Championships and won in Mesquite, looking good as well.
Looks like Brandon put one there in the grid at 369, but Josh Jackson, second ball, 375.
Numbers are going to pick up now. It's warmer. The ground's starting to harden up. We had several inches of rain over the last 4 days, but we have a nice hot South Florida day. It's humid. The guys are sweating.
That they are.
Yeah.
It just takes one swing to
get loose.
And going.
So in conditions like this, you have to bring enough golf gloves just to make sure that you're not sweating through the gloves where you can't grip the club, because that is definitely an issue.
It is. The the gloves, and I've seen some guys switch out some shirts here. So
Gorilla Gold was it back in the day, and you just put like, it was like pine tar, just put it on your hands and stuff and make sure that the grip was tacky in the grips or the glove. But right now, I mean, the guys, it doesn't look like they've had any issues whatsoever. Watching Josh Jackson here.
hit his final ball along with Flynn. He'll definitely need to hit something far.
Tip of the cap to everybody at World Long Drive. They were here this morning at 3:30 setting up. I mean, there's so many electronics here.
Wow, on those final ones, Brandon Flynn just gets it at 385, taking the lead. Josh Jackson at 375, Dwight Earl at 372. We will be right back.
The best long hitters in the world have come for a chance to call themselves a world champion. It's all about power. It's all about accuracy. It's all about guts. Everyone chase the championship belts. World championship.
Introducing the new Bridgestone E9 Long Drive. Co-designed by World Long Drive athletes to push the limits of distance. Thanks to extreme ball speed and superior aerodynamic flight. Engineered for you to hit your longest drive. Drive the new E9 Long Drive. Extreme distance for your game.
It has been so exciting having Bridgestone a part of World Long Drive as we're using all their balls. But as you saw in the last commercial, the players have had an opportunity to have a say in how this ball is created. And so it's really awesome. If you want to have an opportunity to hit this and see if you could measure up to the World Long Drivers, you can go to any of the stores that sell golf balls and probably find this one. Right now we've got a great group on the tee with Brendan Wise,
Jay Ostowski.
Jay Hostowski,
Marty Borgie, 240.
and Isaiah Joyner. They are playing some jams out here.
They're getting after it.
It's really hard to sit in the seat and not dance.
It's getting me pumped up. Taking a peek at the live stream right now. We have 505 people on the live stream on YouTube.
Any Q&As?
Start firing off some questions here. Martin Borgmeyer, 378 yards. Let's take a peek at his numbers. He looks like he's in complete control right now. Ended up getting food poisoning late on Wednesday. He was sick, and he lost 10 pounds. But he looks fine now.
He looks great.
Maybe a little under the weather, but his mechanics look phenomenal. Number 13 of the day.
They are phenomenal.
14.
There we go. And something to watch when you're watching Martin is that he's going to use one club, this first club, to kind of get one in the grid, and then he goes to the second club after 3 balls or after he's gotten a couple to just really fire and launch it. That was right down the middle.
But yeah, Martin just, like I said, on autopilot right now. Doesn't have to hit too many balls. He takes the second place. 500 points, you're pretty safe. Just hit a couple balls and play. This is a 3-day event. They're going to hit 30 balls per day until Sunday, where the winner will have to hit 48 golf balls. 108 total to win a championship.
222 ball speed on this last one. Will tell when. This might get the 400.
I do like that 5th ball that Martin hit.
I did too. I hope we really get to see that. But he definitely has won this one with 378. Jay at 376. and Brennan at 315. Well, Isaiah is on the board at 343.
So we got some questions. These are some tough questions. You know, what's the long of the day so far? That's easy. Sebastian Bedell is at 394. Who is your choice for the final four?
Ooh. Who do you have?
I mean, oh God. He'll yell at me later. Martin Borgmeyer, Kyle Berkshire. They're so good. Like Zach Holton's a monster. Like he's right there. You can never count out Justin James, Greg Knoll. Like Colton Castle looks phenomenal. Brandon Flynn looks good. Scotty Perriman looked good too. Like I mean, Scotty's not gonna light up the launch monitor like some of these guys in like the mid 220s, but like he looked good at 215, 216.
He's gonna be consistent.
Hitting it a long way.
Yeah,
and,
I've got
but
Sebastian,
like for me, like he knows it. We talked last night. We grabbed some dinner, and I think for me, it's just more about him putting balls in play, being consistent. You know, having some consistent miss, and you know the ball flight. He hits it really high. So is he going to be able to make some changes later on down the road to lower that ball flight? He can get away with a lot right now because you know these guys. You know some of these guys are not as fast in this first group of 16 hitters, but Sebastian looks impressive. I mean, he's put up some big numbers so far, but 230, 240 feet in the air.
It'll be great to also see Reed Russell.
Reed Russell, too. Like, I really liked his speed. Like, Reed was a guy that almost hit 230 last year, too. He was, I think he was 229.9 here, but he looked really comfortable and hitting it great in Mesquite at 218. So, yeah, there's a lot of good hitters here today. I mean, like I said, we mentioned earlier a couple of the guys that were missing, but this is a star-studded field, bunch of studs.
I mean, sometimes we don't get a field like this in the past until Worlds.
Yeah.
And now kind of what GF Sports has been doing and having these opportunities, it's competitive every single event.
They said there was only 500 people watching, but yeah, that's actually 582,000 people watching all around the world. Exactly, of course. When we used to do events, you know, in Newton Grove, North Carolina, I would always say, you know, there's 487,913 people watching today, and you know, 497,000 of them are chickens. But
well, at this event we got horses, so you know we count everyone.
Yeah, we got Seabiscuit over there in the far corner. Secretariat is there as well. Landon Gentry 350, Kyle Gabbard 376. After this, we will recap the third set. This is Group 3. 16 guys have already advanced, which include Ryan Gregnall, Josh Koch, Colton Casto, Kyle Berkshire. And there's plenty more.
The best of the best.
Yep. Yeah, Reed Russell going in as the number 1 seed in the fourth group of hitters. That'll be coming up at 2:30. Got Will Hogue, Sean Johnson, Justin James. It's a good group of hitters here.
And your favorite fashionista, Bobby Ray.
I think he's my favorite to, you know, whatever, give a hard time to.
Yeah.
But he can handle it.
Yeah.
He loves it. You know, he loves the attention. He'll be, since Nick Vorbeck's not here, Bobby Ray will once again have the best mullet in the tournament. Congratulations, Bobby. You've already won that.
Bud put
the best and worst mullet. Kyle Gabbard looking good, 376. Bud Widener at 351, Landon Gentry 350. Once there's an underline under these numbers, that is confirmed yardage. Seb Twiddell without a number.
Yeah, that's kind of what you just alluded to earlier, is that you really want to see him get balls in the grid.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference. Not necessarily for this round, but definitely for the next rounds. And we're back. We are about to start here on set number 4. We're getting down to the sets that kind of determine if you will make it or not.
Yeah. Let me just take a look at Sebastian Twiddell's road here. He's at 250 after 3 sets. I mean, he's going up against Dwight Whittle, Martin Borgmeyer, and John Zook isn't there, so Sebastian just needs to hit a bunt in. Per se, you would have, worst case scenario, 275, and then he would have to have a win. Next set to be at 475. So, yeah, an OB set puts you behind the 8 ball, and then he took a third. But
yeah,
Seabass just needs to hit one and play. Brandon Flynn, 355. So the guys that are going to be in there right now, Martin Borgmeyer, Zach Holton, Brandon Flynn, they're 100% in. They're going to be in till tomorrow. Like Brandon's at 500 points. He just hit a ball in play, so his worst case scenario would be at 525. Yeah. I've never not seen someone not get in at 525. So Brandon Flynn is going to be in. Zach Holton and Martin Borgmeyer, they're your first 3 in out of the 8. So to recap, you have Borgmeyer, Holton, Flynn, Kyle Gabbard, Josh Jackson, Jay Hestalski, Sebastian Twiddell, Jeremy Nowak, Anashi Masawi, Isaiah Joyner. They're all at 250. So you have
a lot of guys there at 250 kind of bunched up. So we'll definitely see that dispersion coming up here soon.
It's good to look at the chat here. Nick Forbeck, final 16 in the World Championships in 2021. Aaron Hoffman is on his 42nd surgery of the week or month, whatever. I mean, he is going to be the bionic man when he comes out here. I always say
that'll be dangerous.
He hit the farthest drive ever, 276-yard drive. I think we figured out the math. He hit it like 419 yards, and I was like, he hit it, 276 and 1,900 feet or whatever the heck it was. But Aaron Hoffman, glad he's okay. He had a surgery a couple days ago. Yeah, he only had a couple pieces of metal in his system.
Bionic man.
Yeah. Brandon Flynn improving 3 out of the first 4 balls in play at 355, 369, 370. Isaiah Joyner takes the lead at 373. Anashi Masawi at 350 yards.
I think something interesting that I'm watching is Brandon kind of starts on his toes versus you see kind of the other guys like Masawi and even Isaiah a little bit more flat-footed, but I feel like Brandon's on those toes to really utilize the floor. So little things like that kind of make a difference if you're going to get a couple of extra yards or not, how you utilize the ground.
Yeah, I think Brandon Flynn's 5th ball or 6th ball was in play. That was a good ball too. Optimized it very well and took a peek at the numbers as far as carry distance for on the flight scope, and it was in and around 370 yards. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Flynn on his 5th or 6th ball is a little bit farther than 370. And he optimized it perfectly, just based on the numbers. That was essentially a 150 smash, perfect flight, spin, all the above. So you got the most out of that golf ball. Let's see what Brandon Flynn's going to put up. 384 yards on his last ball.
You called it.
Yeah, that was like 208, but he hit that perfect. And that's good too. Like knowing that you can come out and compete and you don't have to be 230, 240 ball speed. Brandon Flynn with a perfectly flighted golf ball at 208. At 384 yards, takes down the set, and he is currently in the lead with 700 points with Martin Borgmeyer, Zach Holton, and Kyle Gabbard still to hit. Kyle Gabbard can't catch him in this set, but Zach Holton and Martin Borgmeyer can. And this has got to be a confidence booster, too, for Borgmeyer, knowing that he was sick, didn't do anything yesterday, and to be able to go out there and get 3 wins right off the bat. Shows you that he doesn't have to be 100% healthy to still be at the top of his game.
No. He's one of the best. He knows how to push through, how to make those adjustments and changes, and we've been able to see that here today.
He ended up winning in Denver last year, but when I saw it, the biggest change he made was the 2nd round robin in Utah. Like he turned into the Martin Borgmeyer of old, where he just wasn't trying to be cute with the swing, and it was just like, I'm just going to get after it. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to get fired up, and everything changed. And he ended up finishing pretty strong in Utah, and then ended up winning the World Championships up against Bryson.
What location is your favorite here out on World Long Drive Tour?
I mean, this is beautiful because it's right by my house. It's on a polo field. Like you can't get any better, really, truly, than this. I mean, when it comes to Florida, this is perfect. I always enjoyed hitting out in Salt Lake at Ryan's place. The ground's hard. You can get some humongous numbers out there as well. But I mean, Mesquite, Nevada, you can't beat Mesquite.
Oh man, the Holy Grail.
It is
absolutely beautiful. Perfect setup. This has been so much fun.
Yeah. There was a place called Brockett Hall in London that had that was an awesome grid too. It went out to 440 yards and it was just surrounded by these massive trees. So the sight lines were perfect, and the ball rolled forever. So we've been on some really cool grids. We've been in Dubai, we've been in Mexico City, we've been in China. I'm not going to say that grid was very good in China.
We've been a lot of places. I also really like Rockport, Tennessee. I think we have an event later there this year. That was where I had my second win, but that's really special because we do a lot with the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. So
absolutely, this is a big set for Josh Jackson because if he does win here, he's going to have 550 points. Zach Holton still waiting on the last two numbers, but Josh Jackson, not necessarily on the bubble per se, but at 350. Having 550 points is a lot better than 450 because it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a log jam here going into this fifth set.
That will definitely solidify him being in the top 8.
Let's take a peek at Zach Holton, slot number 4. Sweeping hook.
All right.
Or is it?
we will see. Looks like that one's not in.
I don't know. That one's going to be close. 44 feet right. So that wasn't that much of a miss hit. That was 15 yards out right. That might have stayed down. Just based off of the numbers that we just looked at, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. That one's hugging the line. If it is, I think that's going to be a longer golf ball. It's going to be definitely longer than 355. Those were great numbers from Zach. I think he likes it. I saw the thumbs up at
392.
Yeah, that was a good ball right there. That one just flirted down that right side, and that was only 15 yards of movement. And I don't think it was even movement. He just started at 15 yards offline, and it stayed down that right side and let the wind push it back. Good ball from Zach Holton. Looking good there.
And that's why he finishes top 2, top 5. Very consistent player.
Yep. The guys that you're expecting to be here are there right now. Zach Holton, Brandon Flynn, Martin Borgmeyer working on his 4th set here. But there's definitely going to be a log jam going into this next set. Banashi Masawi is on the bubble after the 4th round. A big OB set for Jay, too. I mean, numbers are critical right now. Look at Jay. If he just say he hit 2 balls in play, he could be at 350 points, and now he's sitting at 300.
But that goes back again to show you can hit an OB set and still make the top 8 if you do really well all the rest of the sets there.
Brendan Wise, Jeremy Nowak, Landon Gentry. Let's take a peek and see where Gentry's at. Gentry can still get in. A win and he's in. A win in the second place, he'd be at 425. It's going to be close. Jeremy Nowak has it at 250.
Looks like Landon's aimed right on that right side.
Yep.
A little bit out of bounds there, just so he can sweep that back in.
Landon couldn't ask for a better slot.
Look at that.
Based off his ball flight. And Nowak is hitting a nice little draw, too. I watched him hitting some balls in the range. His first ball of the day was just a nice high draw, so he can just take that same exact ball flight. And this set, I mean, based off of speed right now, Jeremy's the fastest guy on this tee box, and he can hit it high as well. Landon Gentry slinging it down that right side. A lot of movement, right to left.
We've got a surprise coming up here soon.
Howdy. We have a celebrity in the booth. A big celebrity. Hitbombs.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live in Hobe Sound. Josh Koch coming off a 700-point set. Josh, how are you feeling?
Feeling all right. Found some momentum at the end of the set, which is good. Took me a few sets to get adjusted up there. Was having some tee problems, getting used to the footing. Just common things with going to a new grid.
I saw a 225 ball, huh?
Yeah, that was good. That's good for the confidence. Obviously, when we got hurt, lost a little speed, so I'm starting to get that confidence back just to step on the gas, and it was very cool to see that.
What are you looking forward to for tomorrow?
Honestly, that last set was really it was really good for me. I started to feel my sequencing get a lot better. The first 4 sets felt really bad, so it's good to kind of get that out of the system. Hopefully, I can ride those feels from the last set. I don't think I was hitting it high enough. I think the ball flight was launching a little too low, and I think I needed to spin it just a little bit more. You know, obviously it's a wet grid right now, so ball is not running out at all. But you know, a lot of times the first round, I just like to hit a ball that I'm comfortable with, just get through, and really, you know, it's survive in advance. You want to give yourself a shot on the final thing.
Yeah.
You go crazy.
We've had a full field here. We don't get this very often outside of a championship. What does it feel like having almost all the best guys in the world show up, including yourself?
It's awesome. You got you know, a lot of guys moving the needle right now, pushing the boundaries of the human body as far as speed goes. And you know, it's funny when all the brackets come out, everyone's like, "Hey, did you see who was in your bracket?" And I'm like, "Look, I don't care anymore. And at the end of the day, you have to, these guys are so good. You have to bring it every event. And if you don't, you'll get eliminated."
All right, so right now we're having some technical difficulties. I may have lost my left earlobe, but it's coming back.
All right.
It's coming back. All right. We got Josh Koch here, a gentleman who's won multiple times on the PLDA Tour, and a gentleman that made the semifinals and last tournament, lost by a yard to Martin on the last ball. Talk about your relationship with Martin over the last year.
Yeah, Martin's been awesome. I just had such an admiration for how he went and handles his business off the grid, on the grid. We're both the type of person that dots every I, crosses every T, so we kind of geek out on the same stuff together. So I think we hit it off in that world. And then at the end of the day, we're both, you know, competitors. We're out here trying to see how fast we could push our human body, and then when we could compete, you know, compete as hard as we can.
Right now we're keying in on Sebastian Twiddell, someone that went 240 mile per hour. He's had a couple mishits right now, but this ball looks like it's in play. Talk about a little bit about Seb's setup and you know, his body structure and you know, like how he generates that much club speed.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, first off, he's a beast, right? 6'6", 260. So he's got the long levers. And it was interesting, right? When I saw him hit that world record, the question I had was, is he going to pump on the tee box? And obviously we can see he's sticking with that technique, going up, loading the club really hard. And then it's almost like a Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
Remember some of what he was doing?
Yeah.
So, but, you know, downwind, he's dangerous. He reminds me of a Joe Miller downwind, right? Just hits a really high, spinny golf ball, and depending on the conditions at those speeds, that might be a ball that will be impossible to catch.
See, we haven't had Martin's number pop up, but he had 30 yards right to left. I like the second ball that Martin hit a lot. We'll see if Martin's ball is going to surpass 384. But Seb's first ball was a miss hit, and he still hit it 384 yards. He hit a high cut into a draw wind, and he spun it, and I think he was like in the low 212, 213, 214. But the ball, look at the swing speed right now, 163.4, 225. Martin Borgmeier's second ball, I believe, is in play, and it's a big number. You're rooming with Martin right now. How's he feeling?
Yeah, he's feeling better. Wednesday night, he got sick about 9 p.m. And I think he was feeling better by the morning. The big thing was just, you know, letting food poisoning run its course through your body. He was a little worn out. So he slept all day. He ate a nice meal last night. So it seems like, you know, he should be fine by tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, huge numbers as far as club speed from Sebastian Twiddell, 162.1. We've seen that a couple times where it's reverted back on club speed, where it's gone up and then gone back a little bit. But that's a much better set for him. But 280 feet in the air, that's so high.
And it climbs too. I mean, if I had to guess, what are his spin rates right now?
I mean, they've varied a little bit, but I mean, he's kind of sitting in and around 2,500 to 3,000 in spin.
Yeah, obviously downwind, that's fine. It'll be interesting to see as the wind and the grid dries out the rest of the way what the optimal ball flight will be.
Marty Borgi, 240, 388. Sebastian Twiddell 387, Dwight Riddle 382. So that's a big set for Seb because he's going to have 350 points. He's going to have to hit a ball and play to advance. So he's applied some pressure to himself. Let's see who he's got.
Is that through 4 or
through 4?
Okay.
Seb's going up against Josh Jackson, Brendan Wise, and Manashi Masawi. Guys that have put up some good balls today.
Josh Jackson had a really nice first set. I was actually impressed. You know how well he hit it. I don't know what the speeds were at, but the ball flight looked really good. I mean, he looked dangerous up there.
I mean, one thing I do like to see, Seb hit 4 out of 5 balls in play. Dwight Riddle hit 4 out of 5 balls in play. Still working on Martin's second ball, which I thought was a bomb.
Dwight's another good one. I mean, he's gotten really fast this winter. Been watching him a little bit on social media. I mean, he can get it up there in the 220s. So it's crazy now. The 220 is the old 210.
Well, we talked about fastballs. Like 220 used to be a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Now it's like 92.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how fast these guys are. But Greg Maddox got a lot of outs at 87, 88 miles per hour, mixing up speeds, hitting the strike zone, what have you. So, I mean, we're seeing guys like Brandon Flynn's last ball, it was 208, and it still went farther than everybody's in the last group. So, I think you guys are starting to figure out this golf ball. Let's talk about the golf ball, okay? Because that was a topic of conversation. There's been a lot of modifications from the players to adapt to the golf ball, and we're starting to see better numbers because of that. What changes did you make that you saw from the first event to now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of it seemed like the harder I stepped on it, the less the ball went, right? So obviously I think the last ball, as we mentioned earlier, was 224 point something, and it went like 337. Right now we don't know how it reacted out in the grid, but it was lower. But at the end of the day, I think this ball is going to require players to shape their shots a lot more, right? So it's nice to finally get some data from Flight Scope to get an idea of where everything's at, right? Up until this point, it's just sort of been a guessing game. So I think 2 or 3 more events, guys will really start to have this ball dialed in. It's a little softer than like a Pro V1 left dash, which could be good, could be bad. I don't know. So we're trying to figure it out.
This is a big set for Jay Helstowski. If he wins, he's going to have 500 points. Let's see where Bud's at. Bud would be at 350 if he wins. Jay is improving. He's at 358. But yeah, I was talking about Kyle. Obviously, we live down here. Number 1 in the world. Do I need to talk about you more?
No. Keep going. Where were you going?
But no, I think that's the most he's ever after an event. That's the most time he's ever put in, like making changes, like getting prepared for an event. I feel like he's more prepared here than he would be at the World Championships, just based off of last finish and the year before. So
Kyle's an animal. I mean, it's been so impressive to watch him the last so many years. I talked about the dedication Martin puts into his craft. Kyle is up there with him, someone who literally lives, eats, and sleeps long drives. So it's cool to see. It was really cool to watch that whole week of ball speed PRs where one guy set it, the next guy topped it, and then it was kind of a back and forth. It's, in my opinion, I think a lot of it was the fact that we started competition again. So those guys got a little bit more adrenaline at that first event than they probably would have in the off season. And I think that we're gonna continue to see that as the year goes on. Now, granted, up in the 240 range, I don't know how much faster we can get, right? We're pushing the boundaries of the human body, but it's cool. It's really cool to see. I personally didn't think 240 was going to happen, but it did. So, we'll see where it goes from here. Equipment's changing too, right? So it could be a big difference on the road.
I was hitting Seb's setup yesterday. It was like a 38, 40-gram shaft, and then the Paradigm head. Felt good. I mean, you just got to get accustomed to that like 190 CPM, like you're swinging a noodle. But
well, it looks like he's taking 2 shafts up there with him. So I think he's got a hypersonic D10 or D30. I'm not sure which one. And then he's also taking that free flex shaft up there, which is 170 CPMs, 38 grams, which is what he set the record with. So it'll be interesting to see his strategy around choosing the equipment as the days go on. Obviously early rounds, the bottom line is you just got to advance, right? You're not trying to hit home runs here. I guess you could, but the main goal is just to survive and advance. Hopefully, make it to Sunday, and then that's where you can let it eat.
We're in the booth with Josh Gotch. Look at this guy. What a stud. What a stud. That's a big win for Jay right there. It puts him at 500 points. There's going to be a log jam for 8th. We haven't had a playoff. I don't think we've had a playoff yet. Maybe one so far, but who do you got winning this tournament, Josh?
Who do you have winning this tournament?
Not you. So, just kidding. No, actually, this grid sets up great. When we were talking about a south wind, southeast wind, that's obviously benefits you with your, prototypical mid to high ball cut.
Yeah.
And, just tightening up your left to right as well. But you're a pro's pro, you know how to win, and I wouldn't be surprised to see you in the Final 8, and we'll say it for the 450th time. If you make the Final 8, anybody can win. So and the good thing is that you guys, do you like the 3-day setup, or would you rather just get it all done in one day?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
what a politically correct answer.
I like this format, right? I think it's the truest format in the sport. I think if with field sizes expanding, right, I think it makes sense to have it set up like this. I think one, from a volume of hitting, right? It's a lot to hit 2 rounds of 16 and then have to come out and do that again. So I like how it's divvied up, round of 16, and then round of 16 in the match play. So it's good, right? I mean, we got people coming out wanting to hit, and which was during COVID wasn't a thing. So, but I'm happy right now. I think the new team, new management has done a phenomenal job so far. I think that I've seen a lot of little changes at events on social media that I think is really, really positive for the future of the sport.
This is a huge set for Seb. It's a long flight from Australia, man. He needs to put a ball in play right now. Josh Jackson, 370. Brendan Wise, 337. Menashe Masawi at 346.
Let's focus in on Seb a little bit.
Seb needs to just, focus on hitting a ball in play.
I think that might be left. Can't tell. It's going to be close. Oh. There's a lot of glare on our screen, so I apologize if that was totally off, which it was.
Yeah, this is crunch time right now. Menashe Masawi's at 300 points. He's in second right now. That would put him at 400. Sebastian Twiddell still working on a number in slot number 3 on his 4th ball. This one is flaring out right. Not sure if this one's going to stay in play. Let's take a peek at where this ball is going. Did not get the side numbers like you're able to see. So that was 52 yards right from right of center. So that one's going to be OB. Got plenty of horsepower. Just, that ball said it carried 375 yards.
Oh, down to his last ball here.
All right, Sebastian Twiddell is on the bubble right now. He needs to put a ball in play.
Come on, Seb.
Josh Jackson, Brendan Wise, Menashe Masawi.
Told you, Josh Jackson looked good.
Seb's got a number, but that's going to put him at. Our computer just died. Doctor.
Last ball looked like it just left. I would be shocked if Seb is not a world champion one day.
Yeah, he's going to figure it out.
He's
going to figure it out. All right, but we'll be back right after this. We'll take a little bit of a break.
Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
2019 to now, how have you improved? What have you been working on training to get to where we are today?
So, I have the most unique swing in the sport. It was such a different angle. So it wasn't only just learning how to make the ball go far, it was a lot of learning about how I can maximize my movements. And I was very committed to doing my step swing from the start. That's what kind of broke me in the social media part of it. So that's what I committed. It's fun for me to have my own style.
We're back.
Always great to have Josh Koch in the booth.
My boy, we always give each other a hard time. It's the best. So we just had the laptop may have accidentally hit the cord. The battery died. So on the last ball, we couldn't see where everybody's ball went. So we'll get an update here in a minute. But Josh Jackson ended up winning that set. Menashe Masawi ended up taking second place. And we do know that Seb Twiddell hit a ball in play, but he will be at 375 points. Once the scoreboard comes up, I'll get a better understanding here. Here we go. That's Zach Holton, Martin Borgmeyer, Brandon Flinner, and Josh Jackson. Jay Hostowski is in. Jeremy Nowak still, just putting a ball in play. Kyle Gabbard, Menashe Masabi. So Sebastian Twiddell is mathematically out of the tournament. Isaiah Joyner still has an outside chance of getting in. Dwight Riddle. Landon Gentry could potentially get in as well, So if there are a few OB sets, Landon Gentry gets a win, he can sneak in. Dwight Riddle can win. He would have 450 points.
Looks like Isaiah put a good one in the center there.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll get some updates here soon.
So we're just working on the laptop in front of us that was giving us all the information as far as yardages and points.
All the numbers.
Kind of everything that we need.
We can kind of gauge from ball speed. We just had Jeremy put up a 215 ball speed right down the middle of the right down the middle of the grid.
Jeremy Nowak's at 375. Kyle Gabbard's at 335. Dwight Riddle is at 0. Isaiah Joyner still working on a number. Isaiah Joyner needs to put a ball in play too. He's kind of controls his own destiny, similar to Sebastian Twiddell in the last group. Isaiah Joyner was at 350, and he just goes 378. So Joyner takes the lead. Dwight Riddle needs to win this set as well to be at 450 points.
Coming down to the last balls here. This is where we will find out.
Kyle Gabbard's got a number on the board currently. He would have 450 points just with the number.
Wow.
But Jeremy Nowak looks significantly better than he did in Mesquite. It's nice to see him back. He's hit some really good balls today. And I know he put in a bunch of time and energy into this. Dwight Riddle with a number, but that's not going to be enough.
Looks like Isaiah Joyner took that set.
Yep.
Only by a couple of yards.
Yeah, good to see Jeremy back in the saddle. We'll see him in the round of 32. Isaiah Joyner's win will put him in as well.
Sure. A few of these guys can finally breathe now.
And this tournament's different than the first one. The first one, we had 3 round robins of 16 hitters, and the top 2 guys in each round robin made it to the final 16. So I don't necessarily see these guys just going all out in this set. There's no reason to. They're already on to day 2. They can't improve where they're at. So I just see, Zach, Martin, Brandon Flynn just putting some nice swings on it.
Getting familiar with the tee. I think that's a big thing of that structure of putting the ball on there. Although that sounds really silly, it's so different than it is from the practice tee.
Yeah.
So getting used to how to use this tee box as ground versus on the practice range as well. So all these little things are just kind of tuning up before tomorrow.
It looks like Kyle Gabbard is currently on the bubble. I think Kyle Gabbard actually got in at 425 points. So the field has been set. Well, no, actually, Landon Gentry can win this set, and he would be tied with Kyle Gabbard. So there would be a playoff for the 8th spot. So Landon Gentry still has a chance to get in. He's going up against Brandon Flynn, Zach Holton, and Martin Borgmeyer.
I can't tell you how much I want to see a playoff.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd say Landon's is competed against every one of these guys. We saw earlier on in the day, he's been in this sport since 2009. He's made World Championship Final 8s. He's won tournaments. I mean, I believe at one point, probably in the middle 2000s, he was ranked probably number 1 in the world.
Wow.
So Landon Gentry sitting in slot number 1, needing a win up against, some
heavy
the baddest dudes in the planet.
To
These
say
guys
the
are,
least.
Martin
putting up some smooth swings.
Look at Brandon
and
Flynn,
speeds.
389, and just smoothing it. He is getting the absolute most out of that golf ball.
Yeah.
His swing is phenomenal right now. That's number 15 of the day for me, or us as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just using the word phenomenally.
I am. that doesn't even count.
No?
No, I don't
The
think
Lee?
so. No. Alexis Belton along with Bobby Bradley just getting after it in the booth. Want to thank GF Sports and Entertainment for the opportunity to call the action for you the next 3 days. They got out here at 3:30 this morning, getting everything set up. I don't even know how many TVs there are, wires. I mean, this is crazy. It really is.
Everything that you need is here, and the team's been so great of making sure that it all stays at the top level. So a lot of thanks to them and all the volunteers.
Okay, because Kyle Gabbard finished in 5th place, or in fifth. In 3rd, he ended up getting 50 points. So Landon Gentry is now mathematically out of the tournament. So the field is set for group number 3: Zach Holton, Martin Borgmeyer, Brandon Flynn, Jeremy Nowak, Josh Jackson, Jay Hostowski, Isaiah Joyner, and Kyle Gabbard will make it into day number 2 in Hobe Sound.
What a great group Group 3 was to watch.
Yep.
It's awesome having Josh Koch here in the booth, breaking down all the numbers. He is a whiz when it comes to the body and how to utilize it in order to hit
Our
bombs.
first 400-yard drive of the day comes from Zach Holton.
Let's go.
We knew that was going to happen. We're looking down at the flags right now. It's
gusty.
downwind. Yeah, no, it's a little gusty. We got probably 8 to 10 mile per hour winds.
Awesome. Well, we'll be back here at 2:30 with our final group of the day.
Zach
Excited
Holton's
to
like,
see.
you know what? 403 is not enough. I'm going to go 404. Zach
Yeah.
Holton with the longest drive of the day at 404. We will be back at 2:30, but Zach Holton, Martin Borgmeyer, Brandon Flynn, Jeremy Nowak, Josh Jackson, Jay Helstowski, Isaiah Joyner, and Kyle Gabbard will make it on today too. We will see you soon.